Hey everybody. So the other day I published this article on my website, the Cadence Gallery Block Guide, and looking at it now, I realize that it's a pretty long article, and I'm thinking that people could possibly get lost in it. So, and of course, you can use the table of contents, but it's just up here. And, you scroll down, you have to scroll back up to look at the table. So I thought, wouldn't it be good if I could make this into two columns and put the table of contents in a side column so that it wouldn't be in the middle of the article? So that's what I'm going to show you today. Okay, here I am in the back end of this article, and I've decided that I'm going to leave this portion, this introduction portion, and my image and my affiliate disclaimer above this two column setup that I'm going to do. So I'm going to go from the table of contents down into this two column layout. So now, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to start with my table of contents block, and I'm going to add another one after it, and it's going to be a row layout. And I'm going to choose this two column layout, and it's called right heavy. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to put the table of contents in this smaller block, smaller column, and the rest of my article in this larger one. And that way on mobile, this is going to, they stack. So the one on the left is going to stack above the one on the right because I don't want to have two columns on mobile. They wouldn't be able to read it. So here I am with this block, and I'm going to just grab my table of contents and I'm going to throw it in that side block. And they run away from you a little bit, but there it is. And I'm going to want my entire article in this block. Okay, so if we open up this list view right here, it's got the little hamburger menu that you can pull down. This is where we are right now. Here's my table of contents in this row layout. And if you open the sections, you can see it right there. There's the entire row layout. That's both sections. The table of contents one right here, and this is that blank section on the right. I want everything underneath here to go in here. All right, and as you can see, I have not been neat about how I've put this together. And so I always say, do as I say, not as I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab that whole um, list of blocks. And I clicked on the top one, held down the shift key, went all the way down to the bottom, clicked the bottom one. I do not want my author bio at the bottom to go into this row layout. I'm going to leave that in its own full row. Okay. So I've grabbed all those and I'm just going to grab this with my mouse and move it into that section. You can see it indent right there. There's my author bio. It's going to take a second. It's a lot of stuff to move. But now you can see that my entire blog post is in that side column, the right-hand column. All right, so we can scroll down. And then here's my author bio. This is a full column. And then my Pinterest pins. So I'm going to save this for the moment. Okay. And I have my table contents set up. Let me close this for a second. My table of contents is set up, if we can grab this. And you can see I have H1s, H2s, and H3s. That's what the table of contents is picking up. And it's a pretty long table of contents. My collapsible settings, I have enable collapsed content and start it collapsed. And to me, that always saves a lot of space. So let's go out front here and take a look at this. All right, I'm going to refresh the page. And now as we scroll down, here is my blog post on this side. And here's my table of contents, and I can open that and I can scroll down, but it's still a very long article. So you can see that I still have to scroll up to see the table of contents. So what we're going to do is add a sticky block. Okay, and a sticky block is it's a WordPress plugin that is, don't worry about adding another plugin to your site because it's just adding one block to Gutenberg blocks. So it's very lightweight. So if you go over to your, I have to save this. Go over to your plugins and I will show you okay, so here's the block. It's just called Sticky Block. If you search for it, it will come up. It's Sticky Block for the Gutenberg Editor. And there's no settings, nothing. It's just adding another block to your website. Okay, so I'm back in the editing area of this particular post. And so I want to add the sticky block over here to that table of contents area. So I want to be in the row layout and you have this little add. I want to add after. I'm going to get on to no, okay, add after. And I'm going to type sticky. Oh, I have to spell it correctly. And here it is right here. It's called sticky and it's got a little pin icon. Okay, so here I am in my list view. I'm going to grab that whole row layout that has my table of contents in it. See, it's in the section, which is this column. I had my table of contents in a row layout, and that's where I put the background color in. So I want this whole row layout, and I'm just going to grab it and bring it down into that sticky block, and you can see where it indents. Okay, so now it is in the sticky block. There it is. Okay, so now we have to set up the stickiness of the block. So make sure you're on that sticky block and this menu will open. And you want to leave some space between the sticky block and the top of the screen. I usually use like 10 pixels as a kind of a default, and then you can play with it. It just depends on how close to the top of the screen it's going to stick. So 10 pixels seems to give it a little breathing room. Um, I do not want this to be sticky on screens smaller than, I'm going to say 600, and that should cover just about every mobile device, because you don't want it to stay in two columns on a mobile device because you wouldn't be able to read the article. Okay, so and the Z index you can play with if you need to. Um, and that's just going to tell where it is in layers, what it's going to go on top of or underneath. So I shouldn't have to do anything with that. All right, I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to come out here and I'm going to refresh. And now you can see that sticky block. Okay, now see how it stopped right there. Now my whole article is scrolling and the table of contents is staying here. So now I can open the table of contents and you can see that I'm scrolling and I can see all the table of contents. All right, except, oops, look what happens here. I don't want my author bio to go on top of this. I want this block to start to move when I get to the bottom of this article. All right, then I want it to start to go up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add, because the sticky block is saying, do you want a push-up element? And the push-up element will be a class. Okay, so just bear with me on this. So um, it could be a class or an ID, which is fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a spacer right here. Okay, this is where I want the sticky block to stop sticking. All right, so you don't have to put anything in the spacer, you just add the spacer, and then you can make it this, you can barely see a little line in there. You can get rid of it completely if you want. but I'm going to go over to advanced and right here, advanced, and then HTML anchor. And I'm going to say stop sticky. Okay, that's my HTML anchor. All right, and then just copy it if you can't remember it. All right, then we're going to come back up and get to that sticky block. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get into it. There we go. Okay, there's the sticky block. Click on that. And over here, the push-up element is going to be hashtag stop sticky. You have to put that hashtag in because that's an anchor link. Okay, so now when we save that, let's go out in the front. Let's refresh. Okay, here we are. I'm going to open the table of contents. Okay, so now we're scrolling, and you see here comes that little spacer, and it's pushing the bottom of the sticky block up, so I don't have any overlaps with my author bio. And it actually enables them to be able to read the bottom of the table of contents because it's so long. So I hope this helps you, and I think that I'm going to do some more videos on this because it's a very kind of a cool way to save space and also to do some kind of cool pseudo animations. So I'll be back with more.